Guys, welcome to another video from Blade Show 2022. Today I have Jason and Thomas from the Millie PM2 Para 3 Club on
That's
Facebook.
right.
If you guys don't know about that group, I would say it's safe to say it's one of the larger and more productive knife groups on Facebook. Started around Spyderco knives, obviously, but there's a little everything in there now. Because
That's true.
People's tastes progress. And people who own high-end knives don't just own one brand, for the most part. So guys, how did you guys get into the knife industry? Or the knife community, I should say. What was the gateway knife, the gateway experience? What happened?
My first knife was a Boy Scouts little folder.
Okay.
Cut my hands with it a million times.
Yeah.
It was the only knife. It's the best knife in the world. Who else needs it? It's got a can opener, it's got a bottle opener, it's got a screwdriver. It's all you need.
It's got everything.
And that was like my only knife until I was 21. And when I was 21, a person I worked with became like my mentor.
Yeah.
He was really into knives, and he got me to get my first Kershaw. And I got a leak. Dude, leaks that got spring assisted opening. I was flipping that
That's
thing
high speed.
everywhere. It's cool. It's not,
You felt like a biker.
It's a switchblade, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a switchblade. And I just kind of lived in that world of like Kershaws and CRKT and stuff like that for like 10 years. And I loved it, happy, carried every day.
I do miss living in that world a little bit.
Simpler times.
It was
They were really simpler times.
You know how much fun it was going on Amazon and ordering a $14 knife and then being surprised when it showed up?
It came in like 6 hours later. You're
It's
like,
like
holy
10%
shit.
chance it's going to be good, but that's a good gamble.
Exactly.
There you go.
I remember.
I like those odds.
I like those odds. That's solid to me. But then you could keep rolling the dice for $14.
Right.
There you go.
I remember there was a CRKT Ripple, I want to say it was.
Yes.
And I belabored that purchase for months. It was like a $30 knife, and I was like, oh man, do I really need another knife? And then now we don't even think about it anymore, or I try not to.
It's like buying milk.
Exactly. It's like a fixed commodity where no matter how much the price goes up and down, I'm still gonna buy it.
The Arizona iced tea is still 99 cents, boys and girls. So
Yes.
if you want value and flavor, go get one. They're at every gas station in town. I recommend the.
How do they keep it like that?
I recommend the Arnold Palmer Light.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, light.
Yeah.
Light, because we're trying to live into our 80s.
Well, I mean, you don't want the crash later, right? So yeah. Anyway.
Jason, how'd you get into it?
I think when I was about 6 or 7, my cool uncle, the one that always had good stories, he gave me a pocket knife.
Okay.
And I remember when he presented it to me, he wanted permission from my dad in order to give me a knife. So
Respectful and cool.
yeah, so my dad was there and my uncle's like unsheathing this little pocket knife. I still have it to this day.
Sweet.
When Tom and I do our own live stream, sometimes I'll hold it up as a prop, but I don't know. It was the coolest thing I owned in my life. It was that and the Millennium Falcon, right? So I don't
What's
know.
cooler? I don't even know what's
It's like
cooler.
I had one and then I had the other. So anyway, from there, I don't know. I always had a knife on me. I tended to like a Swiss Army style because it was fun to have all the tools, right? Mostly the scissors.
Batman style.
Really, all I wanted was the scissors and the blade. And then got my first Spyderco when I was about 20.
Okay.
So it was a Delica, and it was serrated blade. And my friends and I used to do quick draw contests because we wanted to see who could outdraw each other. So for me, the Delica was great for a long time, but once I bought the PM2, I realized what was possible. I realized that there were a lot of other knives and options out there, and at that point, I decided I want to buy another one. Yeah. So that's where I found.
There's never just one.
Well, it occurred to me that there's probably other people on the internet that are maniacs for knives.
Yeah.
And I'll find them on Facebook because that's where all the maniacs are. So
that's true.
I reached out and I found a Spyderco group, and that's where I met Tom. Was in the Spyderco group.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And so you guys are geographically far away from each other.
A little bit.
Yes.
Slightly.
Because I think, do you ever get the misconception that people think you guys live next door? Because people think you guys are just
did you guys drive together?
You guys grew up together, that kind of thing.
We get a lot of questions about that, like how does this work? And it's all developed this relationship.
Are you guys
Instagram,
roommates?
Facebook. Yeah, but it's just over Facebook. The first time we met, Jason walks in the room and it's just like, it's not meeting a new person, it's meeting a person I know online.
The first time we met in person, we were sharing a hotel room at Blade 2019. We had never been together until we run into each other at the hotel.
You're like, this guy, this could be great, or he could rob me,
Might be psycho, probably not, but we both got knives, so we'll be all right. What's the worst that could happen?
You're both hoping the other one falls asleep first. The first night, you're like, is Tom still awake? Is Jason still awake?
The first night we actually met, this was a big mistake we made at Blade Show. We stayed up until 3 a.m. talking about knives.
Yeah. Oh no.
I mean, we had something in common, and we're going to play with knives. We're going to talk about knives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you realize that doors open at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. on Saturday or whatever. You're like, I got to be up in 2 hours if I'm going to wait outside. That's crazy.
When Tom and I started the group, the intention was to make it Spyderco focused.
Yeah.
Because that was what we were super into at the time. Within 36 hours, we realized that was a really bad idea to limit it. And since then, we've pondered the idea of changing the name of the group. But we've decided that it's so memorable because it's not, it doesn't have the word everyday in it.
Yes.
It doesn't say blades. It doesn't, there's nothing about carry. It's just a weird, long, hard to say name that you don't forget what you hear.
It's even a hard acronym.
Yeah. Yeah.
My theory is it's self-selecting because the people that like PM2s are going to like the same types of knives I am.
Sure.
So if you just put it out there publicly that this is a PM2 group, you're going to get people with similar interests regardless of what they are.
That's a good point.
And yeah, it's the same thing. Within 36 hours, I'm either getting people complaining that something's not a Spyderco, and we had to quickly make a decision like, what's the culture going to be? How are we going to empower members to do what they want?
Exactly.
And it's worked. It's just worked.
It works. And yeah, you're right that people don't just own a knife from one brand. I mean, some do. There are some guys out there that are just Shiro collectors, that are just Spyderco collectors, this, that, and the other. But the vast majority of the time, you get a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
Nothing humbles you to how broad this hobby is. Coming to Blade Show.
Oof.
When we were in line yesterday morning, we got there early. It was middle of the night. We were showing up in line. And everyone in line in front of us was there as Star Wars level zealot fans for a brand I'd never heard of.
Was it Dark Timber?
Dark Timber.
Yeah.
So Dark Timber. Right? Everybody's in line for it.
Yes.
I've never heard of it. And it just shows you just how big the community is in general.
Oh yeah, the passion doesn't just stay with one brand.
And I'm so happy that those people were here. And I learned something. I learned a new brand. I learned a new collector.
Did you get to see what they brought?
Tom talked to a guy for an hour and a half. He was the friendliest guy ever.
Hell yes. That's so cool.
Yeah, we got to see some knives. I looked on the website. So, I don't know. It's just, you learn that there's the Balisong people and there's the case knives. There's the fixies. Mm-hmm. There's all these different types of in the knife community.
Guys. There's auto guys.
You gotta watch out for the Microtech guys. Though.
You do have to. They will poke you, and sometimes on accident. Those blades they really come out there.
I honestly worry about a fight breaking out between the Balisong people and the Microtech people.
That wouldn't go well because they don't. Well, I don't think Microtech makes that many trainers.
Right.
So that probably wouldn't go well for the Balisong guys.
I'm gonna take a step back in time for a sec and talk about something that's important to me. Early in the group, as the group was growing, I don't know. I would say maybe around 1,000 members. Somehow we found Brian Kent, and he became a member of the group.
Yeah.
And it was super early in the community. And really, honestly, as long as I can remember being in our group, you guys have been a part of it.
That's true.
And it really means a lot to Tom and I because we love the fact that we've built a relationship with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And that, I don't know, anytime you guys have something going on, we get to know about it.
Exactly.
And it's really fun to be collaborative on those things rather than, I don't know, adversarial. Some other groups can be adversarial with stores.
Or finding out a little too late about stuff and not being able to, because people ask you guys, because you guys are tapped in, so people ask you, when's this going to happen? When's this going to happen? What's going on with this? How many of these were made? So it's good that you guys have information. It makes everything a little easier,
What's funny to us about the dealer involvement is for us, at first, it was very selfish. It was we want to know as much as we can know.
Exactly.
I want to know the second I can put money down on one of these guys. You guys know.
But it's become a very symbiotic relationship where people want what dealers have to offer. Dealers need that feedback. Dealers need that. It's just become a really good mesh between user and provider. And not all the groups are like that. Some groups are very against dealers pushing stuff for advertising.
Agree. And I get it. I understand. I understand both ways, because I would feel uncomfortable hopping into whatever group and being like, hey, we just got a shipment of ProTech, They'd be like, all right, dude, we follow your Instagram. You don't need to come here to my, this is where I relax, know? Like, you don't need to come here and advertise to me. I don't follow you, whatever. I think that it's nice that we try to do stuff that is enriching and not just, hey, we got in, we just restocked standard S45V and PM2s. We try not to do that kind of stuff because people, if they want to know about that, they'll follow the Instagram. So Guys, switching gears, what has been your favorite thing you got to see this week?
I may have just seen something I've been asked about for 5 years on a regular basis. It's real.
Did you take a trip over to the Spyderco booth?
I took a trip over to the Spyderco display case out in the hall.
Uh-huh.
There is a knife that's very large with a compression lock called the Military 2.
Fantastic.
It looks really good.
Does it look sweet?
It looks better than a PM2, actually. Like, it's a really good looking knife.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
The relationship that we built with you guys, we were able to duplicate with other dealers. And one question we ask often is are you ever going to do a military exclusive? And the answer we often get is, we want to, but we hear there's a refresh of the model coming.
Yeah.
I don't want to order the old one.
Yep.
Right? So in our group, people are always asking for it. So when Tom and I saw it, it was like, we literally dropped everything and went over there, took pictures of it, and posted it on
to
Insta.
everyone.
Yeah, because it's such a hot thing. So I didn't even think of it until you mentioned it, but that probably is like the biggest deal now.
It is a really big deal.
Yeah.
And then what did you guys pick up this week? If you don't mind me asking.
There's this brand called Koenig.
Who?
Koenig? Koenig?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Koenig.
It's got an E in there, I think.
I got a couple of them.
You good?
A couple. They're pretty nice knives. So if you've never seen a Koenig Arius, they're very beautiful, sexy knives.
It is a sexy knife.
And the actions are just, they're my favorite actions. So
pretty next level.
I spent a lot of time at that booth this weekend.
Pretty next level. How about you, Jason?
I also got a Koenig.
Hell yes.
Couldn't resist, but I'll pivot and go in a different direction. I also bought a tactile turn.
Nice.
And I got the Rockwall.
Nice.
So I walked by the booth and I saw it and I was excited about it because that's a knife that if you are a YouTube zealot, and I'm sure these guys are if they're watching this, they know that Bearded Gear has been talking a lot about the Rockwall. And I tried.
Some guy named Jake.
Yeah, Jake Wright. Shout out Jake Wright. I respect his opinion, and I know he was excited about it. I tried one early on, and I liked it okay, but I felt like it wasn't for me yet.
Yeah.
And now they've gone through so many revisions of that knife, and they've improved it. I picked one up, and I was blown away.
And they have cage bearings now, which is a huge... Yes, well, they used to be uncaged, and it was kind of a big issue for people. Not the fault of Tactile Knife Company, but people taking it apart, and then I don't know if you ever lost a bearing, but I'd rather lose a tooth because they're so difficult to replace or find. So I think that's a huge upgrade, but I'm incredibly excited about that as well.
More than once I've had to crawl around my office with a magnet, like a super strong magnet, and just sweep the carpet. Yeah. Yeah, I yank them out of old hard drives, and I just sweep the carpet till I find it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm glad they made the change.
Guys, what was the most rewarding experience from this week, other than the stuff that you guys picked up? Because that's pretty rewarding.
This sounds weird, but the most enjoyable part of coming to the show is waiting.
Is what?
Waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting in line sounds like getting in line at 4:30 in the morning. Sounds miserable. But you make friends, you make connections. When you're in the show, it's pretty busy. When you're in line, you have time to just meet people and actually really get to know them.
And suffering together is a great way to make a very close friend.
It is.
What's a little trauma between friends to build a memory?
Exactly. You have a trauma scar in your brain, and then you associate it with Jason.
That's how we learn.
Exactly.
There's some anxiety while you're waiting, like, oh, gotta plan what you're doing.
Absolutely.
It just builds the excitement when you finally get there.
And character.
There you go.
How about you, Jason?
It's been a great show. I recommend everyone come.
Yeah, I do too.
If you're in this community and you want to broaden your experience with it, this is so good.
Even just for a day.
Everyone's friendly. Everyone's here having fun.
Yeah.
All the booths are great. You can see everything you want to see. You can try things out.
They'll let you handle anything.
You can handle anything you want.
Yeah.
Right. There's all sorts of classes you can take. There's exhibitions. There's historical things.
Yes.
All those things. All that aside, my favorite thing has been the meetup that we did last night.
Yeah, that was
at
fantastic.
the hotel.
That was fantastic.
We had a meetup down in the lobby. It's called the Pit. It's a giant atrium-style hotel.
And it's big enough for about 1,000 people.
About 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Or Clay McDowell's center console.
I think you probably... that's to be determined. We'll have to run some calculations.
We'll find out tonight.
Yeah.
So we did a meetup last night, and a lot of the guys in the club that we've been telling for 2 years, like, you got to come to Blade Show.
Yeah.
They were here.
Absolutely.
Right? So I brought some of my collections, so we had something to look at and play with. And just getting to know everybody was so fun. I'm so glad we could do that.
Freaking cool.
It was absolutely the best.
So guys, you have anything else you want to say to the good people out there?
If you like knives, more than a passing interest. If you like knives, you need to come to the show.
Absolutely.
I have been planning to come to the show. I don't plan things. I don't plan vacations. It's not a good thing. I'm very, it's like, I'll go with the flow. I planned to come to here the day I went home.
Absolutely.
I told my wife, and I'm not missing this event. This is the most important thing I do all year is come to this show.
I tend to agree. How about you? Do you have any dad advice for people?
I definitely think that people should come to the show, right? And just like Tom, starting tomorrow, we're going to be pitching it to everybody in the community to try to come, see if we can build a bigger tribe next year.
Always a good thing.
Absolutely. You said dad advice?
Yeah.
What age?
Timeless, like cross age groups.
They need to eat well, they need to sleep well, and they need to poop well.
All right, guys, you heard it here first.
Same with me.
Exactly.
It's very
timeless.
universal.
It's timeless. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around for all of our Blade Show 2022 content. If you have any questions for the guys, leave them down below, and I'll make sure to forward them over there to them. Guys, thank you so much. It's great to see you again.
Thank you, sir.
And hope to see you guys in August.
Thank you for having us.
For the grand opening. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.